Welcome to Mooncube Media. This is video number 1. You are welcome. Ha! Okay, so I'm going to talk about some video games, but just a quick intro to who I am. I'm a gamer, I'm a collector, so I collect video games and merch, video game related stuff. So I actually stopped gaming in my 20s. I just lost interest in gaming and kind of never bought a console. I think the last console I had in the house was a GameCube, and still would kind of dust off the PS1 every now and then, or maybe whatever was lying around. But then just about 10 years later after that, I just started getting the urge to play some old retro stuff, like just Super Mario Brothers or whatever. So I got an emulator on my PC and was happy with that. But then I hated playing on a computer keyboard. So I was like, well, I need a controller. And got a controller, but I hated mapping the buttons, and I was like, shit, I just need a console that's, I can shove in a game, it's made for it. So I think I bought a Wii eventually, and I got about 5 games or maybe more. I remember they were really cheap at the time, and I liked it. But there was one game, Metroid Other M, that, because I previously really liked Super Metroid and the original Metroid. So, but Metroid Other M was the one that kind of was like, yeah, this is solid. Like, and I know the kind of views on that game, and it's kind of hated and loved, blah blah blah. Who cares? But yeah, I was like, yeah, this is the kind of game I'm after, or I want more of this. I want to see what's available now. Like, I knew it was a bit of an old title, and I think around that time the new Rise of the Tomb Raider was being advertised for Xbox One, and I was like, shit, that's the one I want. I want to get an Xbox One, and I want to get Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I got one. My brother bought me one. Like, he just rang me up and was like, dude, that thing you were talking about, I got it for you, it's in the mail. And I was like, what? So, yeah, and that really set me back onto it. I was like, downloading games and buying games. And it's only been the past 6 years that I've started collecting physical games, which is a shame, but I'm glad I've started now. All of the stuff that I had as a teenager is gone. I had a SNES and a Game Boy and GameCube and all the games, and a PlayStation 1. So I'm actually I've decided I just want to buy back the collection I had when I was younger. So I'm kind of slowly doing that. There are games that are just too rich at the moment, like Super Metroid and Secret of Mana. Anyway, okay, so I want to talk about some games that kind of, when I got my Xbox, I found some games that really, it kind of sparked my passion again, even though it had already been sparked. But so this I don't have a physical for, but this is a CD I made. So there's only one of these as far as I know. Lifeless Planet. It's an indie game. It's made by one dude. I can't remember the name at the moment. Stage 2 Studios, is that right? And there's been a sequel called Lifeless Moon, which I also have, but I want to talk about this. So yeah, I really loved the atmosphere and being I don't want to give too much away if you haven't played it, but just the atmosphere of it, and you start and you're desperate for oxygen, so you kind of find the oxygen and you're kind of puzzling your way through the game, like you're trying to figure out why you're there and who was there before and what happened, and there's this strange kind of green goo around, and you're kind of piecing the puzzle together and finding recordings and solving puzzles, and you meet this strange character that's a female kind of looking alien character, and yeah, so it's just this real mysterious kind of sci-fi weird story. So it was kind of like everything I'm interested in. And just being able to delve into that world and be that character and be on that planet, I loved it. And I love the music, and I love that I wasn't fighting enemies, I was just exploring and going through a story. I didn't need to shoot 1,000 enemies. It was real chill, and it's not the longest game, but it took me forever to beat it. Like, I wouldn't play it in huge chunks. Well, it felt like forever. But I remember people saying, "Oh yeah, I finished it in 3 hours or whatever." And it's like, what? How did you do that? But I mean, I guess it's possible. But it felt like a pretty solid game to me. And yeah, so that was. And maybe it's because I'm new back to gaming and hadn't played massive games like whatever was out at the time. So in conclusion, awesomeness. Okay, so enough said about that one. So you can find that on Xbox, I know, and Nintendo Switch, probably on PlayStation as well, if you want to check it out. Also the sequel, Lifeless Moon. I might talk about that in another video. Okay, second one, I want to talk about Inside. I hadn't played Limbo before. I think Limbo came out before it. Limbo's awesome as well. Inside is, wow, another, I would call it a cinematic platformer. I don't know if that's the category it should be, the genre. Loved how it started. It's another kind of just starting in this land that you don't know where you are or why you're there, but you're instantly being chased, and you're under threat, and something's going on in this world and you don't really know what, but you have to kind of make it to the other side. So I guess you're inside this system and you got to get your way out, and it gets stranger as you go. So it's a 2D side-scrolling, excellent graphics, excellent lighting, excellent atmosphere, and I'm looking here and it's, so 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 from IGN, 10 out of 10 Washington Post, 5 out of 5 The Guardian. So yeah, really good game, highly recommend it if you haven't played it. What else can I say about it? I said it gets stranger as it goes on, and that's definitely true. You're kind of amongst this world of kind of almost like zombies, but You can control them and they help you solve the puzzles, and oh man. And it's another, because I'm not really interested in just your first person shooter kind of, Battlefield 3, blah blah. I mean, I like that stuff, but like, I need it in some kind of different form. Like, I loved Aliens vs Predator on Xbox 360, where it is a first-person shooter, but you're in the aliens world, and it's like, yeah, man, like, I dig it. It's sci-fi, and I don't have that much time to play games, so really, I don't know. I guess if I'd want to play it, I mean, I have them. I have a bunch of them. But yeah, I just kind of go with what I want to play, I guess. If that makes sense. Yeah. So, and I don't want to talk about. I won't mention anything more. There's something big. In terms of the strangeness. Yes, indeed, it gets stranger and stranger, and that's all I'll say. And I did play Limbo maybe 6 months after, and really enjoyed that too. Okay, and the third one, so I picked 3 games just to start this channel off. And this one's called Rime. I must have watched the trailer or something, and I was like, yeah, that looks great. I loved the art style. I loved the world. Is it another game where you kind of just wake up? Yeah, I think you wake up on a beach, and you're like, what? Where am I? And then you just start exploring and kind of start. You kind of know you need to get past a certain part. So you're in this first section where you need to find 3 things and light up the statues. And once you kind of start working out the puzzle mechanism of unlocking things and lining things up, and yeah, because I felt pretty lost. I remember for half an hour first playing it, I was like running around this island like, what the hell do I do? And it's getting a bit frustrating, but once I kind of got past that initial part and then kind of saw where I was going and what was happening, and you're kind of constantly heading towards this tower in the distance. Wow, it's an amazing game. The music, the character design, and the way it's told the story without words, maybe sounds. The main character makes sounds, but he never actually talks, and the video kind of footage that helps propel the story along and give you more insight to what's going on is all without dialogue, and it's quite mysterious. And I think you find symbols around. There's no English words as far as I can remember. So yeah, I'm surprised that this game sells for so cheap and isn't kind of a big deal. It's another kind of indie developer. They're called Tequila Works, and I know I think they're in Spain. I might be wrong, but there's a limited edition that I wish I had have known about when it was released. But yeah, to get that, I've seen it listed for $200, $250, $300, and I had it on my watch list for ages. I nearly bought it at one stage. I think it's for Nintendo Switch. But yeah. So yeah, if you can get your hands on this, do it. Okay, so that's the 3 games that I wanted to talk about to start this off. I have a lot of other games to talk about that started me, or after these games that I discovered and kind of continued my journey back into gaming, and yeah. So I'd like to talk about those games and just kind of give these small mini reviews and see where I go from there. I'd like to do videos on collecting and going out and finding games if I can get around to doing that, and also going to kind of conventions and stuff like that. But at the moment, this is how I'm starting. I'm just going to talk about games that re-triggered my passion for gaming and blew me away a bit. Okay, so awesome. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Love you dudes. Bye.